So we might be taking a little rough. But our boys made a strong showing, going north of the Cheddar Curtain and attempting to steal the cheese with the time running out. But it was not meant to be.
This was the most pathetic performance I've ever seen by the Bears. The quarterback stunk, the offensive line stunk, special teams stunk, defense stunk, the running game stunk, the coaches stunk.
I'm Joby Wan, and let's get into it.
83. Sack machine.
This was a tale of two halves, with the Bears able to muster only 3 points in the first half, even after a CJ Gardner-Johnson interception that would set them up at the Green Bay 35-yard line. Caleb was having trouble finding open receivers downfield, and Coach Johnson didn't stick to the run so much. The second half saw them come alive, putting Caleb on the move, and the ground game becoming much more effective. The Bears did a decent job against Micah Parsons, with him pressuring Caleb quite a few times, and ultimately getting no sacks. But there's a caveat to that. Parsons basically being held on that play too, which he's probably held on every play. You know, we used to have Khalil Mack. I used to watch him get held on every play too, so I know how that goes. Ultimately, the Bears would storm back, tying this game up in the fourth quarter and getting the chance to win on essentially the final play of the game. Sadly, on the last play, Caleb would make the errant throw at a time that I thought they would have been better served running, as they only needed a half a yard and still had 2 timeouts in their pocket. Defensively, this team clearly missed Kyler Gordon, who went down during pregame warmups. Soft tissue health has been a major concern for Kyler Gordon since being drafted by the Bears, and hopefully the coaches, trainers, nutritionists, whatever it takes, can get this figured out in the offseason. It would appear that the Bears still went with the Kyler Gordon plan even though he was unavailable for the day, and we would see Jordan Love complete several Rodgers-esque slant routes, as well as 2 busted coverages that led directly to long touchdown passes. As much as the loss stings, they got to get right back up as the next opponent is coming down the pipeline. Cleveland will be coming into town, featuring a Myles Garrett who will be looking to close out his season with the all-time sack record, and Shedeur Sanders making his 3rd start, throwing 4 touchdowns and a loss last week. And luckily for us, the Packers have to go to Denver, where they will definitely be facing a tough Broncos team, and they themselves are also looking for the all-time team sack record in a single season. It's safe to say that the pressure will still be on for both of these NFC North teams while taking on AFC opponents this week. All right, with my sadness and despair out of the way, we will move on to the top 10 power rankings. Off the list this week is the Indianapolis Colts. They have probably made their final appearance in the top 10 for this year, with Daniel Jones going down once again, this time with a torn Achilles, most likely due to overcompensating for his fractured fibula that he was playing through. The Colts are so desperate that they have signed Phillip Rivers to their practice squad and is expected to start this week. Oh my. At number 10, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, they went out and got the win this week, and they didn't do anything necessarily to drop on this list. But with the Colts falling off, another team going on this list has jumped them. And I do still believe that the next team in this rankings is actually better than Jacksonville. So at number 9, we have the Chicago Bears. Taking the heartbreaking loss on the final play at Lambeau Field, these Bears did prove that they can hang around with the big boys in the league. So even though they dropped 3 spots, they will still remain on this top 10 list. Jumping up to number 8, this team is going on the list for the first time this season in the Houston Texans. This defense is absolutely phenomenal, and if they can just get average play out of CJ Stroud, then this team should be in good shape for a playoff run.
Yeah,
Hey,
keep going.
stop taking those hits.
Yeah, I know,
I mean,
right?
hey.
Yeah.
Learn from those mistakes, and everything that you got, bro, is in you already, bro. You're going to be a hell of a player in this league.
Yeah.
All right, boy.
Appreciate it.
For sure.
At number 7 is the San Francisco 49ers. They were on bye this week, so they'll stay put. At number 6, and jumping up 2 spots, is the Buffalo Bills. They got the win against Cincinnati, although it took 5 touchdowns by Josh Allen, once again, as well as a defensive touchdown. They moved up more because of the shuffle at the bottom of the list, rather than because of their victory. At number 5, we have the Green Bay Packers. The Packers. Staying put at number 4 this week is the Seattle Seahawks. They drubbed the Falcons this week, but I'm just waiting to see what Sam Darnold does in a big spot. At number 3, we have the Los Angeles Rams. They absolutely dismantled the Cardinals, but I'm not quite ready to put them back up to their number 1 spot just yet. At number 2, we have the Denver Broncos. I will be cheering on our AFC brothers in blue and orange against the Packers this weekend. And at number 1, the New England Patriots. They stay put because they were also off this week, but they still remain to be one of the most complete teams, if not the most complete team in this league. All right, there you have it. There's our top 10 for this week. Thank you for joining me. Once again, I am Joby Wan. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, I will be live when the Browns come to Chicago to play the Bears, Sunday at noon. I hope to see you then. And until we meet next time, bear down.